Hello, everybody. Welcome to the conference. My name is Mathias HOLTZ, and I am the new president of Europa Cinemas.
And I'm not new. I'm Fatima Jumer, CEO of Europa Cinema. Welcome to all of you.
Yes, a very warm welcome. I know a lot of you have had traveled far, and there's been some issues with canceled flights and reroutes and everything. So I'm so happy to see so many faces here. And to formally open this network conference, I would like to invite a very special guest up on stage. It's the Lithuanian Minister of Culture, Mr. Simonas Kairys, who has agreed to come here and open our network conference. Welcome, Minister.
Dear all, it's really a pleasure to have you here, and it's my great pleasure today to welcome you in Vilnius. I'm delighted that we are in the spotlight of filmmakers and organizers of international conference. The Europe Network Conference is taking place in the Baltic region for the first time. This is a great achievement for all of us. Our dynamic, vibrant, original cinema has brought us to this goal. You know, usually when we're talking about the nature, in Lithuania we have 4 seasons. But yet many of us counting 2 of them. The first season there is Skanorama Film Festival, which takes place in November. Other season is Kino Pavasaris Festival or Cinema Spring Festival, the festival that comes in spring every year. Of course, there are many similar, smaller festivals, film events and educations, which we also appreciate very much. More and more often, we hear news of international recognition of Lithuanian and other Baltic filmmakers. We are at a turning point where the audience looking for something new, interesting, and different. And that's the eye turning to the Baltic states. And this is very encouraging. Perhaps the greatest reward for any filmmaker is a full house. Today, with so many competitors looking for the viewer's attention, attracting wider audiences is crucial. Let's not be modest. European cinema is a phenomenon. It should be everywhere, on the pages of history and in today's cinema repertoires. Attracting young people therefore remains a key challenge for every of us. This is not possible without film education, without involvement in the school system. During my 4 years as a Minister of Culture, I have always sought to reinforce one key perception in Lithuania. Culture is a horizontal value that connects all other areas together. Cinema is a perfect example of this. It is not measured in terms of artistic values. Cinema also has a huge economic, social, educational, even political weight. It is a language that allows us to communicate with other languages do not. I wish all the participants of this conference to find as many contacts as possible with education, business, and social affairs. For cinema to remain strong and active, it needs to be find as many allies as possible. So, let's keep looking. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister, for that speech and for your support. Now to our second important speaker. As you know, this event, this very important event for all us Europa Cinemas members, is only possible because of the ongoing support of the Creative Europe Media Programme. So I'd like to call on stage the Deputy Director and Head of Unit at DG Connect in charge of the media programme, Lucia Recalde.
So, good afternoon, dear Minister, dear Mathias, Fatima, dear friends, because allow me to call you friends already after so many years of the Europa Cinemas Network. It is really a pleasure for me to be here with you today. And it's also, I'm delighted to be here in Vilnius. It is really important that this event takes place here in the Baltic region. So, thanks for inviting me, and I can only now but remind the last time we met in Paris, celebrating the anniversary of Europa Cinemas. It was only 2 years ago, but the world has changed so much since. So the world has experienced a lot of changes, with the war in Ukraine emerging as a defining crisis that has reshaped global politics and economics. And our friends from Ukraine that I hope are here, and even Lithuania, they know this too well. So in a couple of weeks' time, the Vice President of Ukraine and the newly appointed Vice President of the European Commission will sign formally the agreement that will grant Ukraine full access to Creative Europe program. And we are... So you are a member of the Europa Cinemas, but also a member of the Creative Europe family, and you are very much welcome. So, but also within the European Union, we see rise of populism, polarization, growing dissatisfaction with our democracies. So it's fair to say that we are in a period where deep uncertainties for the Europeans. But as our President Ursula von der Leyen said in the European Parliament this week, in a world full of uncertainties, we must come together and build a future for ourselves. And that choice is ours. And cinemas and Europa Cinemas, I believe you are already playing, but you can play even a more important role in uniting Europeans. So let's start with a new college in Brussels, because we are in a period of change. And the new college led by President Ursula von der Leyen will take duties this Sunday already. And as you probably know, the media and audiovisual files have been entrusted to the Executive Vice President, Enna Virkkunen, hope I pronounce it well, who is, by the way, a former journalist and passionate about media policies. And something very important that I wanted to share with you, the uniqueness of the media sector has been recognized in her mandate letter. And media is unique because of 3 interrelated dimensions, because media is important for culture, it's important for business, but it's also important for democracy. And these 3 dimensions are equally important and should support one another. And I think the cinema sector and Europa Cinema, you really embody these 3 dimensions, because you enrich our cultural experience on a day or on a weekly basis. You are innovation hotspots, and you play a key role in fostering democratic societies. And let me just say a few words about these 3 different dimensions. So you are really key in fostering the circulation of European non-national content across borders. That is your bread and butter. And while the richness, as the minister said, of European content is really unparalleled, is unique, the reach of European content still is limited, it's not good enough. We have data showing that around 30% only of European content travels across borders. And I think this is a challenge that we need to discuss not only with you, but also with other segments of the audiovisual industry, because cultural diversity effectively happens when people, when European citizens, wherever they are located, have access and enjoy the richness of European content. And to do so, also, we must attract young people, the young generation, to the cinemas. I'm very glad because I see that throughout these days, we are going to discuss extensively audience development. And I also know that through the various events you organized, the labs in Bologna, in Sofia, you are discussing this extensively. You are not only discussing, you are implementing a lot of super interesting initiatives. So now let me turn to this, my second point, which is the contribution of cinemas to innovation, to competitiveness. Because President von der Leyen has said that this commission will put competitiveness, investment, and skills at the heart of its action. But when it comes to cinemas, to Europa Cinemas, we are not starting from scratch, because you have already covered a lot of ground through Collaborate to Innovate. And these projects really testify your willingness really to experiment with the cinema-going experience. But also on training with the boot camps, you are already delivering a lot of results. This started this year, and we see that the efforts you have made to equip young exhibitors with the right skills. So I can only commend, praise you, and encourage to go in this direction. But also, as you pointed out in this program, something that is very, very important for us is that you don't operate in a vacuum. You operate in an audiovisual ecosystem. And success in cinemas also depends on innovations that happen elsewhere in the value chain. So from the European Commission, we are convinced that we must reflect together with other players on how can we best support the competitiveness, the resilience, and the transformation of the audiovisual industry at large. And since you have been front runners in driving innovation, I will really invite you to sit with us and really play your part in this conversation that we will start soon. And my third point, that maybe is one that has become even more relevant these days, is the role of cinemas as hubs for social cohesion and democracy. This is actually the title of your report, the one you prepared with Unique and SICAE, because in an increased polarized world, cinemas are not just a place where I go to watch films. These are community places. And these community places, unfortunately, are not well spread all over the European Union, as you said in your report. And unfortunately, there are areas in big member states, in small member states, north, south, from Eastern Germany to the empty Spain, from the northern of Europe, where people don't have access at all to the cinematic experience. So we have labeled these areas as cinema deserts. And this is a key challenge that we would like to overcome in the years to come. And we know that you are already also taking action on this, and you will have our full support to move in this direction. Let me now quickly turn to the last part of my intervention, which is the future funding after 2027. Because as we said at the very beginning, Europe is facing a lot of challenges. And the financial framework that will start in 2027 will have to reflect those challenges, from the defense to the reconstruction of Ukraine. So the geopolitical situation has changed, and there will be increased pressures on the budget. But we are confident, and we believe that we can work hand in hand with you to secure an adequate budget for the future. But to do so, we believe that the successor program will have to build on the success of today, but also evolve and project itself into the future. And this is what you are doing already through the Europa Cinemas Network, which is, I would say it again and again, one of the greatest success of Creative Europe, not only media, the whole Creative Europe. And that will help us make a very strong case for the future. And it's not because of the content that you bring is not for the impressive number of cinemas that are already present. It's because you dare to experiment and take risks, because you have the courage to challenge your models and ask yourself difficult questions for your future, and because you have the vision and ambition to continue to be relevant in the years to come. And we can only commend and support this approach. The last years have been a remarkable success for Europa Cinema. And I think the success goes to you, but it goes to Fatima and her team for really driving forward the network. I think we cannot thank you enough for having re-energized the network and taking it to the next level. So we are immensely proud of your achievements, and we see a bright future for you. So to conclude, I was long, sorry. Let me reiterate, you have in the European Commission a trusted partner and a long-standing partner that is willing to embark in this future journey with you. So let's continue to work together and to nurture your passion, creativity, and inventiveness. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lucia. Thank you for your speech, and thank you so much for recognizing the cinema's role in art, in social structures, in innovation, and even in the democratic integrity of Europe. Thank you very much for your words. I'm very happy to be here today. This is the 23rd conference of Europa Cinemas Network Conference. I feel that I've been going to these conferences for a very long time, but it's only my 9th. So I know a lot of people here in this room have been here for all of them or a lot of them. The theme for this year's conference is adapting to the shifting cinema landscape through shared innovation. This is a very good description of who we are as a network and as individual cinema professionals. We're always looking for ways to improve ourselves through innovation and collaboration. We will see and hear many great examples of that during the conference.
Since our last conference in 2022 in Paris, the European box office recovered partly, and the audiences came back to the cinemas, especially the young audiences. But as you know, there are still some discrepancies between European countries across the continent. As you know as well, there are parts of Europe where investment in culture is extremely limited and where infrastructure and skills need serious development. The European Commission and Creative Europe, thank you, Lucia, thank you to Alessandra, Sunmi, and Jan van Rukkegem who are present here, whose support is so vital to our sector, have recognized the need to ensure that there are no deserts without access to the cultural diversity that unites us all. For our network, that is a practical challenge. How do we ensure that vital skills, innovation, and best practice reach every member of the network?
Europa Cinemas has more members today than at any time in its 30-year-old history, and those members are more active than ever before. Record numbers of members are joining workshops, networking with each other, and sharing ideas and knowledge. And we're happy to welcome here in Vilnius almost 500 participants from 35 countries, even from the United States of America, and to mention one special, I would like to mention Yulia Antipova of HOLTZ Cinema in Kiev, Ukraine. Welcome to you all.
Cinemas in 24 countries, including Lithuania and all its Baltic neighbors, have developed projects for Collaborate to Innovate in the past years. And a brand new initiative of local boot camps is already attracting applications from across Europe. We had 7 boot camps organized these past few weeks and months. Why are these initiatives working? Because the people in this room have made them work. The guidelines for all these new initiatives have been devised and developed by network members. So yes, this network proves itself over and over again to be adaptable, resilient, and innovative. For our members, optimism and wishful thinking are not the issue. It is about belief, commitment, and action.
Yes, and in this age of geopolitical turmoil, the idea of collaboration across borders is more relevant than ever. I'm so pleased, therefore, to gather representatives from all over Europe here in Vilnius. We're here together to improve ourselves and the cinema business that we love so much. I myself am Swedish and live less than 100 miles from here in Stockholm on the other side of the Baltic Sea. So we're neighbors, yet this is my first time here. So I put great value also to the opportunity to broaden my horizons and see more of this beautiful city. And I imagine that many of you here are also here for the first time.
We would like to thank our friends from Lithuania who invited us here. In particular, one person, Vida Ramashkine, who joined the network almost 30 years ago. Cloderic was here to, I think, give her the label of Europa Cinema. It was in 1995 with the cinema Lietuva, which closed today, but she's done many things after that. And her son, Algirdas Ramaska, who took over, a very dynamic entrepreneur, head of the International Film Festival of Vilnius and of a distribution company called Kino Pavasaris. I would like to have a big applause for them. Thanks once again to the European Commission and to Lucia for her ongoing support to Europa Cinema. Your kind words warm my heart, and I think all of the people here. Thanks also to our everyday partners at the executive agency, Alessandra Lucchetti, Deputy Director of the agency, Sunmi Petten, our friend, Head of Sector in charge of Europa Cinema, and Jan van Ruckegem. And thanks as well to our other partners, Eurimage, represented here by Enrico Vanucci and the Institut Français. And of course, we don't have to forget the French CNC, which has been supporting Europa Cinema along the media program since the very beginning. I would like also to thank Go Vilnius, who supported the organization of this event, and of course, a big applause for the whole Europa Cinema team, especially Lisa Püscher and Sarah Hajar. This conference wouldn't have happened without their hard work and commitment, and I mean it.
So, Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine has underscored for us, all of us, the importance of defending the freedoms that we hold dear. It's a reminder that the fight for democracy and preservation of cultural diversity is something we must all share. Cinema and culture become not just entertainment, but a symbol of solidarity. So thank you all for being here, for your dedication to cinema, and for your commitment to a world where democracy and diversity continue to thrive. Thank you. Yeah. And so we can declare the conference open. Yes. Oh, great. And by doing that, it's time for us to leave the floor to our good friend and moderator and our buoy and guiding star of all this conference. A man most of you know before, that will guide us through these 3 days. Please welcome Michael Gubbins.